Welcome back to the NWR Virtual Resources Series. My name is Kerry Stevenson. I am your host for this session on Flynn Gold. And this is an investor update. They're an Australian-based mineral exploration company, and they're targeting gold in two emerging gold camps, WA's Pilbara region and also northeast Tasmania, where they've also got a tin and tungsten project. So I'm really excited to hear the updates from Sam Garrett, who's their executive director. Sam, great to see you. Let's talk about what's going on with Flynn Gold. Since you're listed, you've been getting very busy and getting on with the job.
Yeah, thanks, Kerry. Nice to talk to you again. Yes, we've been busy since listing, drilling at the brilliant project in northeast Tasmania, and so far answering all the questions we'd hoped to answer.
So do you want to just share the presentation with us now?
Right, I'll do that.
Well, you've gone too far forward, I think.
Okay.
Go back to the start.
There we are. So this is us. This is Flynn Gold. Our key headline projects are in northeast Tasmania. We're exploring for gold and tin tungsten. We also have another project emerging in the Pilbara of Western Australia, exploring for gold and lithium, and that project is immediately adjacent to De Grey's Hemi project. In Tasmania, for those who don't know, Tasmania is a mining state, and whilst the risk reports put it as the second most or the second best state to be exploring in. For those that work in both Tasmania and WA, without a doubt, Tasmania is the best state to be exploring in Australia. Our key northeast Tasmanian project, the reason we're there is basically it's well known now that northeast Tasmania is an extension of the Victorian orogenic belt that hosts very large gold deposits in Bendigo and Ballarat, and now more recently the Fosterville deposit. We have exactly the same rocks and exactly the same ages. We have the same types of intrusives, the same types of mineralisation, and what is key in the key difference here, and what we believe sets us apart and gives us the best leverage for success, is the difference in exploration expenditure across the two different districts. So in Victoria, in the last year, there's been some $185 million spent on exploration statewide, as compared to Tasmania, where it's about $14 million.
Wow!
So that's the key statistic that we believe gives us the best chance. We've been exploring there since 2017. We had an opportunity to cherry pick the best projects, and you know, we identified two key projects to start on at Golden Ridge and Portland. Golden Ridge is an intrusive related gold system, we believe, akin to Port Knox in Alaska and potentially King of the Hills in WA. There's been very little work done there historically, despite there being historical mine workings. And one of the key features of that is that two of those mine workings have been drilled with encouraging results, which we're now following up on with our drilling program. Further to the north, the Portland project is a typical orogenic style gold deposit. We've identified some over 30 kilometres of strike potential within that project alone. Work we've done has discovered outcropping mineralisation, including 10 metres of 5.3 grams per tonne in trenches, which we've followed up with some drilling recently at Windy Ridge and Grand Flaneur. But for now we'll focus on Golden Ridge, which is our sort of headline project. Golden Ridge comprises a a diorite or granodiorite intruding into the Ordovician Mathina beds. And on the southern edge of that granodiorite is a sort of 5 to 8 kilometre long geochem and geological anomaly, which has only been drill tested in two specific locations, that being the Brilliant Prospect and Trafalgar. And the total strike length of drilling only accounts for about 150 metres of that trend. So obviously a very exciting project for us to start on. Since listing, we've commenced drilling at Brilliant with the aim to confirm the historical grades. We haven't been able to use historical grades in any resource work because previous drilling didn't utilise standards. So we've started doing that. We're also testing the continuity of mineralisation and getting all the structural information we need to test for strike extensions. Since starting, we've seen visible gold in 3 of the first 6 holes, which has been reported. You can read all that information on the website. We've drilled our first 8 holes for approximately 2,000 metres of what was originally planned as a 4,100 metre program. So today, updating our geological information, you can see a section on the right-hand side. Recent intervals, including 38 metres of 1.34 grams, or 57 metres of 2.55 grams. That's in the old hole GR 610. So that's what we've recently discovered is a structure which bifurcates the deposit and essentially thickens the deposit, if you like, for a vertical extent of 100 to 150 metres. So now that those holes 2 and 3, BRDD 2 and 3, have achieved our first milestone, which was to confirm the historical grades. And so now the task for us is to step out and extend the mineralisation sideways. In conjunction with the drilling, we've also been conducting ground geophysics at Golden Ridge. We've done gradient array IP surveys and gravity surveys. You can see in the graphic there, the gradient IP has been extremely successful at identifying chargeability anomalies. In particular, the GRC1 anomaly, you can see there sort of defining the contact with the granite within the hornfels, but also coincident with the historical soil sampling. So that, as we know, that anomaly has only been tested at the Brilliant and Trafalgar prospects with drilling. So there's a lot of work for us to do further there. In addition, the GRC2 anomaly and GRC3 anomaly are completely untested by surface geochem methods or any drilling. So we've got a team on the ground now, ground truthing those anomalies and with mapping and rock chip sampling. So we assume a fair bit of news to come out of that. Moving now to Portland. As we mentioned, Portland is more of our orogenic type system. The work we've done there recently has identified 5 parallel trends or anticlines with an overall strike length of around 38 kilometres, but open. For us, the predominant trend to really focus our exploration on is the Rushy Lagoon trend, which includes about 5 or 6 historic mines. Those mines, mined back in the early 1900s, went down to sort of up to 60 feet and were returning ounce type material. But, there's been historical drilling at the Grand Flaneur and Bluebell prospects, and some drilling by us at Grand Flaneur as well. But all that work has gone to produce our cross-sectional models to target our following drilling programs. And what that work has confirmed for us is that there's strong similarities between our systems and the Victorian-style systems. We see tightly folded turbiditic sediments with gently plunging anticlinal fold hinges, and these show shallow reverse faulting propagating across the fold hinges and into the opposite dipping fold limbs, and that sets up the structural architecture for where these these high-grade gold deposits can occur. We're also seeing extensive brittle fracturing and gold associated with arsenic and antimony in these types of systems. The main key feature, though, that is different is that at Portland, our system is greatly underexplored by comparison. So of that 38-kilometre strike, less than 5% of that has been explored to date. So lots of work for us to do there.
Sam, it's interesting, isn't it? Because Victoria, the Victorian goldfields, that's had its renaissance. And you mentioned earlier in the presentation that you see this as an extension of that sort of Victorian goldfields. Is it going through the same process where people don't believe that there's much, because Victoria has just come alive. Tasmania, do you think that's the next kid off the block, so to speak, and no one's actually taken much notice of it? I mean, what's your view? You've got so much understanding of the rocks and your background. What's your thoughts on it? I'd love to hear just from your views what you think of the
that's exactly right. The renaissance in Victoria, driven by Kirkland Lake, has definitely been a key factor in allowing us to get listed for starters.
Yeah.
But now that the challenge for us is to really get the message across and sell that story, and hopefully the work we do will deliver that. The advantage we have here compared to our peers is that we have a lot of ground. So we have this Portland prospect with its 38 kilometres, but we have another 2 as well, which have the potential to deliver similar trends. And we have deposit optionality. So, we've got the intrusive related systems as well, which are now starting to be recognised in Victoria as part of that orogenic system. So we're very fortunate to have been sort of chipping away at this in the background for a while, whilst, Kirkland was setting the world on fire. But yeah, now the work is ahead of us to get the message across, and hopefully that'll obviously be driven by results. But the challenge for us is these systems are very complicated. Their architecture is very difficult to understand, and it takes a little bit of patience. But obviously, you can see from the work we're doing here that that work is starting to unfold and starting to deliver fruit.
Oh, well, here we go. There's the exploration history. This is exactly what it's very interesting. That's
right. So, this area was mined back in the, late 1800s, 1900s. It's been drilled, shallow drilling has been done on, half a dozen of those little prospects in the past, but it was results such as 1 metre at 17 grams at the bottom of hole at Grand Flaneur, which really got our interest going. And we've since followed that intersection up and drilled 2 equivalent results either side of that intersection at Grand Flaneur. They're 1.4 metres of 9.7 grams.
Okay.
Half a metre of 12 grams. And they're results that are consistent with underground mining grades at in the Victorian gold belt. So we're getting close to unlocking the key. But the real message here is the scale of the system and the lack of historical exploration. So whilst the system is large, and whilst there is plenty of evidence of, historical mining. There's been very little follow-up work.
And it's your run, and sorry, Sam, I'll let you keep going, but because
okay.
I think this is important Grand Flaneur. I'll shut up and go at the end.
No, that's fine. So, at Grand Flaneur, for example, the work we've done has discovered anomalous gold in 5 out of 6 holes, shallow holes, 50 to 100 metres. We've got the required associated arsenic, antimony, bismuth geochemistry that these systems typically generate in Victoria. We're seeing the right architecture where the gold's hosted in limbs on gently plunging anticlines, and vectoring us towards the anticlinal structure at depth. So, we hope within the next sort of 3 to 6 months to be drill targeting those types of structures, both at Grand Flaneur and further to the south. I should point that out, further to the south at Bluebell. So that Grand Flaneur Bluebell trend is the one we aim to target first. That's about sort of 1.5 to 2 kilometres. Similar grades in drill holes at Bluebell. You can see there 2 metres of 7.5 grams and 1 metre of 11. So between that, in that 2 kilometres strike length, there's no drilling between those. So that's going to be an initial focus for our work. We'll continue to sort of unlock the geology of that system. But that 2 kilometres represents, less than 10% of the full strike length potential. So a lot of work to do, a scary amount of work to do.
Oh, you're up for it, Sam.
We're up for it. And this is basically the big picture slide, Kerry. That is a comparison of the Portland geochem trend versus the similar trends in the Victorian camps. So, we've got the big scale system, and we've got 3 similar systems in Mungana, Lyndhurst, and Telegraph to start to work up as well. So it's not just a one-trick pony, Portland. We've got a lot to do. The recent surge in the tin price has spurred us into action in that regard as well. We quite a while ago recognised the potential for tin in northeast Tasmania. It's an historic tin mining jurisdiction. Over 70,000 tonnes of tin has been recovered from this region in the past, predominantly from alluvial mines, but there is enough evidence of potential for hard rock mineralisation either beneath or adjacent to those alluvial mines to give us some encouragement in our early exploration efforts. That work has seen us begin reconnaissance exploration in the Hardens Ravine and Star Hill prospect areas, where early results are delivering some anomalous tin and tungsten grades up to 0.9% tin at Hardens Ravine and 3.2% tin at Star Hill. So very early days there for us, but we've also got a number of prospect areas to potentially target, including Winifred, Woods Flat and Tallawang. And to the south, immediately south of Tallawang, you can see we've recently applied for a new tenement, EL 16-2021, Bendover Hill, which connects this Cameron deposit in the north, the tin area, to our Golden Ridge prospect or project to the south.
Okay, 2 minutes.
At Cameron, Hardens Ravine, you can see there we're starting to see tin mineralisation in outcrop, in Gryson and quartz-style veining, and at Star Hill we're seeing similar quartz-style veining and sheeted quartz cassiterite veins in outcrop and subcrop. So, you know, we'll be putting together a program in the near future to start exploring that in further detail, which could potentially include some drilling. In Western Australia, Flynn has 6 tenements under application, one of which has been granted. The Mount Dove applications adjacent to Hemi are interesting for us in that they include some interesting historical geochem assays that have never been followed up. More recently, work by Kairos has identified a large geochem anomaly in ultrafine fraction soils immediately to the south of our EL 5055, and they're currently drilling that out with I think it's a 5,000 metre RC drill program, and they've reported seeing some significant pegmatitic material coming out of their drill tricks. So this area is known for lithium as well as gold, and you can see there's some historical lithium stream sediment anomalies in 5093. But I guess the message we want to get across here is that very little work has been done despite its location, and we'll be looking forward to working there once those tenements are granted. There we are, a timeline. That's basically, we're meeting our timelines. We're drilling at Golden Ridge. We hope to be drilling at Portland within the next 3 to 6 months. And we've completed our initial geophysics programs. We'll also be drilling at Trafalgar within the next 6 months on a co-sponsored hole with the Tasmanian government. So there we are. Thanks, Kerry, and I'm happy to take any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Sam. We've only got a couple of minutes. We're running a little bit late. If you want to ask a question of Sam, who, by the way, has so much knowledge of Tasmania and also what he's doing over in the Pilbara, so ask him a question because he's got the knowledge. If you don't, I will. Sam, in terms of, you know, the tin price is on a tear at the moment. Is that why you decided to not move across, but add the tin and tungsten project to Flynn Gold? And will it take, I guess, the focus off the gold? Because you've now got 2 distinct areas in Tasmania.
Yeah, no, that's a very good question, Kerry, and thanks for asking it. It's long been known that tin is associated, or tin granites are associated with these orogenic gold belts. So it's not abnormal to find tin mineralisation in the same district, and we recognised that at the very beginning when we started to build up our portfolio, and when we originally worked at Portland, and we looked to what other ground we could pick up, the Cameron licence included the southern extension of the Portland gold system, so we just decided to continue that to the south and take out as much of the tin ground as we could. Tin is one of those minerals that does go up and down, but it's definitely on a tear at the moment, as you say. Gold is still our focus. However, we have allocated in our budget a budget to work up the tin where we can. We've done some trenching at Hardens Hill in the past, so we're just starting to put all that system together, and to be seeing, subcropping, outcropping mineralisation with beneath the cover there is pretty interesting and could potentially be exciting for us. The other mineral that's on a tear, or the other element that's on a tear away at the moment, is zinc. So Flynn's also got a zinc project on the west coast of Tasmania, a very large sort of zinc holding there. So, we've also got budget allocated for that.
We haven't even covered that one. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's even more there. Listen, Sam, I'm going to give you the last word.
Yep.
What would you say to investors listening today as to what's the upside for Flynn Gold going forward?
The upside is that we're drilling, we're delivering results, we're delivering on the program that we said we were going to do. We've got a large portfolio of high value projects where we've clearly got a very big system relative to our peers, and we've got a good team in place to manage it all. So we're expecting the news to keep coming.
And Sam Garrett knows where to find this stuff. He's got a load of experience. So watch this space. Lots of news coming out. Sam Garrett, thank you so much from Flynn Gold. Thanks for joining us at the NWR Virtual Resources Series today.
Thanks very much, Kerry, and thanks everybody for listening in.